So, I want to talk about why I love Attack on Titan so much. While I'm, wandering my empty apartment. Attack on Titan is just, it's so entertaining. It's got, I would say it has a sort of formula, and it's got that formula down to a T. And it's so good at what it does. And I think what a lot of it stems from is the characters. The characters are so good, and they're just so easy to get to know and just attach onto. The characters just have so much depth to them, and they're just so interesting. They're all very 3D, other than Eren at the beginning, because at the beginning he's this very black or white character. Like his whole worldview is like good versus evil, which is another facet of the story that just makes it so entertaining and so different. Because the world of Attack on Titan, as any of you that have seen it know, is not black and white. There's so much nuance, so much gray to it. But at the beginning, Eren is a black and white character, and that adds a whole nother layer of depth to the world. And it's just so interesting because it's like when a character sees the world in good versus evil, black versus white, but he lives in a world that's not that, how does that affect the character and the world, and what does that do with the story? And I think it's super cool what they do with Eren's character, because of course in the final season he becomes like the big bad guy, like committing genocide of everyone except the people of Parody. And it's like it's so, like, no one expected it, but at the same time it makes so much sense because, like, when you break it down, Eren never changed as a character, and he's still just seeing the world as black and white. He hasn't come to understand like any of the nuance of it. That's a very surface level. Of course, like there's actually plenty of details where he actually has kind of adjusted to the nuanced world that he lives in, and that's very evident in his talk with Rhina in season 4 before they attack Marley. But like I said, at the core, because at the beginning, Eren starts just like, I want to kill all my enemies. And then at the end, he's still, I want to kill all my enemies. Like, it's so cool. Because, like, it was so unexpected, but it makes total sense. And honestly, like, I know some people weren't too fond of the last season. They didn't like the ending. I don't know, I guess I can get it. Like, season 4 is pretty different from the rest of the series. And the ending, it's not your traditional happy ending, but I think that's actually to the betterment of the series. Like, yeah, season 4 is different from the rest of it, but I think it's cool. Like, it's a whole new aspect of the world that needs exploring, and I think that was necessary because, like, I mean, there's just a common rule when it comes to like plot twists is you introduce it like 3/4 of the way through. You introduce it where there's enough build up and mystery that keeps the audience watching or keeps the reader reading. But then once you unveil a little plot twist, you still need to have enough time where you can now explore the world with this new perspective and with the plot twist and explore the world in this new setting. And so that's what Attack on Titan has to do with this last season. Yes, it's different, but it has to do that because of the plot twist. If it didn't explore the world in a new way, it wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't work. It would have been, the plot twist would have felt like a waste. It would have been anticlimactic. But at the same time, you can't get rid of the plot twist because that's a big part of the show, and that would ruin all the mystery and build up to it, and it would have just been another anime. Granted, Attack on Titan is actually the only anime I've actually seen. I want to watch Death Note next. I've heard good things about that one, so that's probably the next one I'll watch whenever I end up getting to it. But so the fourth season kind of has to take that shift in narrative and story and all that. And also, yeah, yes, I get it. People didn't like the ending. It wasn't your traditional happy ending. I understand. But also, like, again, I just don't think that would have made sense with this kind of story. Like, because Attack on Titan, the whole theme to it is this world is evil and cruel, but it's the small moments that make that worth it. That's the theme. So if they had gone with a traditional happy ending, that would have obliterated the theme. And like from just a technical writing standpoint, that would have obliterated the entire show. Like that would have not gone over well because you have to stay consistent with the theme. And with a theme like that, you can't end it in a traditional happy ending way. You have to end it as Attack on Titan did. That's just what I think of the ending. Of course, if you don't like it, like you're fine with your own opinion. But that's just the way I look at it. I found the last season so entertaining, and I love it. Like, and for me, the ending was satisfying, and that's what an ending should be. I often compare the ending of Attack on Titan to the ending of Game of Thrones. Bro, the ending of Game of Thrones is not satisfying. The TV show, I still haven't finished the books yet. I took a little bit longer reading A Dance with Dragons because I wanted to slow down. But like every time I think about the ending of Game of Thrones, the show, I cringe. I can't take it. They destroyed John's character. Well, they didn't destroy his character, but I hated where he ended up. I was hoping he would end up on the Iron Throne and all that, but then he just goes back to the wall. I hated that so much, and that is what I think is a bad ending because that wasn't satisfying. To me, that made no sense and just wasn't satisfying. While Attack on Titan, while not your traditional happy ending, it was still satisfying, at least for me. That's enough about the ending, though. I want to talk more about the show and just why I think it's so good. I mean, like I'm so because like I said, Attack on Titan's the one anime that I've actually seen. I'm so glad I started with it, but also like I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I don't think any other anime is going to be as good. Uh, but because like just because of how good it was on my radar, and that's why I watched it because I was like familiar with it. Um, but it's just so good. I think the reason it's so good is it has the massive, giant, overarching mystery, which of course is revealed and it's a plot twist at the end of season 3. But it just has a huge mystery, and I feel like that's just what makes it so good. I like because there's all these factors and all this buildup. Like there's so many like while you're watching it, you have all these questions, and you're like, how did the wall get built? How are there people outside the wall? I don't know. You just have these questions like, where did the Titans come from? And just slowly they get answered. But each time they get answered, it opens like three more questions, and like that builds the initial intrigue and what keeps you watching. But it's like in the spare time when it's not focusing on plot or mystery, it doubles down on the characters, and it does it so well. Like the characters are so complex and they're so good. I like I think any fan of Attack on Titan, you can genuinely argue about who's the best character, and literally anyone from the entire cast of Attack on Titan, there is a good justification of why they are the best character. Personally, my favorites are I like Rhina and Zeke, but like everyone I've talked to about it, none of us have agreed on who our favorite character is. Like my best friend that's watching it now, his favorite is Aaron, or like my girlfriend, she likes Hanji, and then like my cousin watched it and he likes Levi. Like we all have our different favorite characters, and they all have justification. Like each character in the show has justification to why they're the best, which I think is a great thing for the show. You can literally argue about everyone except maybe not Gabi, but anyone else, I think you can probably justify it. And it's just like I can't think of a single other show with that likable of a cast. Because like I'm comparing it to Game of Thrones again, but Game of Thrones has such a huge cast, and there's plenty of characters. Like a lot of people probably have their own favorite character. But with Game of Thrones, I think generally most people are gonna their favorites are gonna be Tyrion, Jaime, or Jon Snow. You know, and there's kind of that trend. But also in Game of Thrones, there's plenty of characters that people just hate, like Joffrey or Ramsay. I actually kind of like Ramsay a little bit, but like is the characters are different, and I mean it's just like different shows. Like uh, I I wouldn't want every single character in Game of Thrones to be likable. Like I think that's part of Game of Thrones' appeal is some characters are genuinely hateable. But for Attack on Titan, pretty much every single character is super likable, and I think that just really suits the show. And because like yes, the mystery is kind of what initially gets you to keep on watching. The intrigue, like you're not sure what's happening. But then it's like while you're not aware of it, while you're passively watching it, the show is making you care for and like for the characters. And that's what keeps you there. And I just think it does so well at the characters and pairing it with the mystery. But also like Attack on Titan just isn't like anything else I've ever seen. I was aware of Attack on Titan. I knew like I was familiar with some of the music, familiar that it was popular, that it was anime, but next to that, I didn't know anything about the show. Like I knew that there were Titans in it. That's literally all I knew. But then like so finally I decided to watch it, sit down, watch the first episode, and the colossal Titan breaking the wall, and Aaron saying how at that point they knew they were cattle, and I'm like, I'm in. Like I've just never seen anything quite like that before because it's just such a out there concept. I feel like, but one where there's still plenty of humanity with it that it works, and like just right, like just that hook. Like I said, I saw that. I'm like, I'm in. Like I was into it at that point because I was like, I've never seen anything like this. But of course, I don't know, maybe other anime. I don't know. I don't watch anime. But yeah, it's just like it's like I've never seen anything like it before, and I think it does a really good job at balancing each of the aspects. I already talked about the mystery and the characters and how those are just so delicately and well balanced. But like also like the hook is just so well done, it's balanced with everything else, and I think like the pacing is also so well balanced, and and just everything about it is so well balanced, and nothing like me personally, I can't say anything wrong about the show. Like the worst I can say about the show is the first few episodes in season two, it was kind of slower, but they were still really good. Like, and it's just so good. I guess like another thing I want to talk about is the armored and colossal titan reveals. Oh, that was so good. Honestly, I'm not sure I'm a huge fan about how they did it and how it was so casual at the beginning. Ryan is just like, I'm the armored titan, he's the colossal, you know? Like, I'm still not like a huge fan of that, but I don't think it's bad. Like, I think doing it in that way, I don't think it's necessarily enhanced that scene, but I also don't think it necessarily diminished that scene. And my only reason why, because usually just a writing rule is if you have a reveal, you want it to be big. You don't want to do a casual like that. But I think Attack on Titan implemented it where it didn't hurt the story doing it that casual way, because, and I think it was because of all the follow up after they revealed it, and because like if they just revealed it and then done nothing with it, yeah, that would not have been a good reveal. But the fact that like they reveal it, and then I want to say it's 3 episodes that we're still like following, like we still haven't resolved that, and like it's like 3 episodes before they even kidnap Aaron, and they have to do the chase, like because I just think they did so well after the reveal and just making that so engaging, which I think is such an interesting idea, because basically what it's saying is we have this cool plot twist, but we're not relying on the plot twist. In fact, we don't care. We don't give. I'm trying to think of how to swear this or say this without swearing. We don't care about the plot twist and the shock value. We don't care what that could do. We care about the actual story and what that actually does for the characters and the actual like meat in that. If that makes sense. I don't think I explained that the best. I'll just get into an example, like because I'm doing the reveal casually. That's them basically saying, well, it's showing how good they are at writing, essentially, because they could like cop out and be like, oh, we just have all this mystery, all this reveals and plot twists, and that's what's carrying our show. But them revealing it in a casual way is like saying, oh, we're not relying on these plot twists. And in fact, we don't even care that we have these plot twists. What we actually care about is the actual story, what is actually good and actually making the story good. And they do that because then they follow up the reveal with the just insane battle of Eren versus the Armored Titan, and it was such an insane battle, and like it carried on for like 3 episodes. And that's actual like story. Like for those 3 episodes, I'm entertained the whole way through instead of being like watching it and be like, okay, when's this finally going to reveal a twist? I'm bored. I don't want to watch this. I'm just here for the plot twist. Instead of that, I'm actually engaged for the whole 3 episodes, which I think is why people should watch something anyway, for engagement and entertainment the whole way through, not just waiting for the plot twist, which I feel like a lot of franchises kind of fall into. They fall into those traps, not necessarily the plot twists, but just other things, and they rely on like cameos or something to carry them. And I just think that's such a unique way to present your reveal. But it was just presented so well, and then like Eren beats the Armored Titan, but then Rhina like starts pushing Eren, and you're like, what's he doing? Like obviously he's doing something, but it's like, what is he? Why? Like you can't see any correlation. And then the Colossal Titan drops and like goes for Eren's nape, and it's like, and then it ends is like just jaw wide. But like I just love Attack on Titan, and genuinely, like when they did that reveal, I like I've never seen a reveal like it ever. That scene genuinely hurt my soul. Like I can't explain it in any better way. It hurt my soul to watch. And like actually at that point, Rhino was my favorite character at that point. And it hurt. Like it felt like I was backstabbed. Like I've never felt that way ever watching anything ever. Well, not I've felt it a second time now, but as of watching that, I've never felt that. Um, I mean, the second time I felt that, well, it was Game of Thrones. If you've seen Game of Thrones, I bet you can guess what scene it is. But it's just and at this point, I've still only felt that way watching something twice, and I think that can just tell to the testament of how skilled the writers are. Like it's just a testament to how well it was crafted, and I think just a lot of love and care went into making Attack on Titan, and everything was just so thoroughly and carefully watched and inspected, and everything was so delicately balanced and nuanced, and so much care and detail went into it. And like honestly, that has to be why it's so good. Just because all this love and care and attention to detail went into it, and just focused on making a good story. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to and why it is such a good story.